In May of 2008, when Tarl and I took over Plexus, it was a very small company. I mean, we had a couple of products, but the thing that bothered us is we had a terrible comp plan. It was called a binary. And if you look at a binary, it looks like, wow, this would be easy to do. It's got two legs, you load those up and you're in business, but you gotta have the legs balanced to some degree. And when you really get into studying a binary, it's a win for the company, and it's not a win for the average distributor that's in the business. So Tarl and I got to work and did some research and found a plan. We thought, now this one is way better and it's fair. It was called a forced matrix. So all excited that we'd found the answer to replace the binary, I took off for Canada. And I land in Seattle, which was my first stop, and Tarl's on the phone. Guess what? I just did some more research on the force matrix, and if you project it out, it just dies on itself. It won't work. So I am discouraged beyond, what are we gonna do? So the next day I had lunch with one of our executives that was with the company in Seattle, and told him the situation. He says, well, what are you going to do? I said, I really got no idea at this point. He says, well, let me ask you another question. What are you trying to accomplish with a comp plan? So I hauled out a piece of paper and I started writing down a list of things that I wanted in a comp plan. It had to be fair to people. It had to pay people properly. It had to provide incentives so that they would be encouraged to build their business correctly. But mainly we want to make sure that it was all balanced. We wanted people at the top making money, but people all the way down in the organization making money. Otherwise, it wasn't being fair. See, comp plans are traditionally unbalanced. They pay the big dogs, as we like to refer to them, a huge amount of money, the company a huge amount of money, and then all the people that are doing all the work in the trenches, they don't get anything, or hardly anything, and they get discouraged and they quit. Anyway, I'm sitting there having lunch with this fellow, and all of a sudden I said, I've got it. And he said, what have you got? He said, I've got the comp plan. He said, yeah. Yeah, it was like it was downloaded to me. He said, what are you talking about? I said, it looks like it was a gift from up high. And he says, well, tell me about it. I said, no, I don't have to. And I was so confident I had the plan, I hopped in my car and started heading back to Victoria. Stopped off to see a few friends and then arrived home. And I didn't even touch it that day that I got home. I waited till the next morning, sat down and wrote the whole thing out. And while we've made some improvements and changes to it, it is basically what we have today is the same comp plan that got downloaded to me that day at lunch in Seattle. What I didn't realize about the comp plan at the time was that it really was defining the philosophy of Plexus and its culture. I mean, every company out there says, oh, we're different. And then, 3-4 months down the road, you find out they aren't different. They're just like every other company out there. When we said we're different, we meant it. And we continue to prove that each and every day. You see, we want you to succeed. And I don't care how many other plans you've tried and how many other companies, we want you to come on board here because we want you to be successful. We want you to get to the point where you can enjoy financial freedom. That's the kind of comp plan and that's the kind of company we are. Back in 2008, when Tarl and I first took over Plexus, we were determined to do network marketing as it could be done and should be done. And guess what? We've done it. And our dynamic growth proves it. Welcome aboard.